Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time to make an esports connection as we bring you the VALHALLAN Lake Forest Esports Connection podcast. Streaming live from, we'll call it the center of the esports universe here at UCI, University of California Irvine. And today we got a treat as we bring in Vincent Yard and his guest. Welcome, Vincent.
Thank you so much, Paul. Today we got a really special one for you guys. Mr. Mark Deppe over at UC Irvine, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and then so you are the director of esports over there.
Yes, indeed. Founding director. We're wrapping up our 9th year here.
Awesome. So you've been there 9 years then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and something I wanted to start out with was basically kind of just starting at the beginning. So like when you came in, I can't think of what 9 years ago was, but when you came in, what was your first like initial plan or thought, basically?
Yeah, so
I want to be in the room when I want to be a fly on the wall when he walks in and says, we should have an esports program at the University of California Irvine, big college, and they went, what?
Yeah, so the genesis started even longer ago. So it was the summer of 2015. I was in business school, finishing up at Cal State Fullerton, and they had an Irvine campus. I drove by Blizzard every day on the way to school over on Alton. And so when it came to do a strategy paper, I had to pick a publicly traded company to do a strategy paper for. In 2015, I picked Activision Blizzard, and so I did a mediocre paper on where they should go. But the thesis was, when I was investigating, like, hey, they should investigate and invest more into esports. So this is just when StarCraft was still mostly in Korea and nothing. We hadn't sniffed Overwatch or things like that yet. So I was doing this research on esports at the time, and I read an article that had listed UC Irvine as the #1 school for gamers. A publication called College Magazine. I was like, oh, that's interesting. They talked about our successful club. Our League of Legends team at the time had won back-to-back national championships.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Before national championships existed.
Yeah.
And then the number 10 school in that list was Robert Morris in Chicago. And they were the first school in 2014 who had just started offering scholarships.
Oh, okay.
And so for me, I was like, well, I just suggested that this game company invest more into this growing phenomenon. It's now on college campuses. We're already good at it. And I had been at UCI for 5 years doing events and breaking rules, doing festivals and concerts and things like that. So yeah, it just started with me whispering this idea first to my wife and then a few other friends, like, what do you think about starting an esports program at UCI? And surprisingly, I got kind of warm responses and was kind of encouraged to take the next little step. And so that's how the very first kind of inkling of the idea came together.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's 2015, you said. That was when I was in like my freshman year of high school, and that's when I really started getting into gaming. And I feel like that's when I started seeing a lot more things like, oh, like this is coming out, or more college opportunities for this stuff. And then I was like, really? Like I just had no idea. So
and I have to butt in again. Was UCI then not the first, but among the first to offer scholarships? You don't have to get good at bouncing a basketball anymore or hitting a baseball. How about moving a mouse?
Yeah, so the year prior to us starting our program, there were 4 schools. And then I think between that year and when we started, it got up to like 17. So when we announced our program, we believed we were the first public school to do this, the first research university. We're still kind of the highest ranked academic school that does esports. And so we still have a special niche in this space.
Because I don't see it at Harvard. I don't see it at Stanford. I don't see it where I went to school at the University of Michigan. I don't see it yet there.
Yeah, Michigan, I know they have a director. They do it in recreation there. But yeah, they're not doing it at the same level as us. So if you look above us on the national rankings, we smoke all those schools in esports. And the schools that are really competitive, they don't show up in the top 100. So
Gotcha.
we're like that nice intersection of elite competition and elite education.
Oh, yeah, because I wanted to bring it back to, you said, so like after you launched it and everything, it gained up to like 17 schools for scholarships and stuff like that. But we actually partner with the website called staypluggedin.com. And that, like, you can just go on endless lists now of too many colleges like in the US that offer scholarships for so many different titles. And that brings me to my next question, is that, so when someone is applying for a scholarship, does that go directly like to you, or is that sub into like other people that are on your staff?
How do they get a scholarship? I mean, do they have to go apply to the program or to the school first, or?
Like the process.
Sure. Yeah. There's a couple ways.
This is for all those moms that have been on the
Yeah.
show recently. I want
Yeah.
to know, this is going to lead to something? Oh my goodness, they can get a
got you guys.
scholarship?
Yeah, so we have about 25 athletes a year,
Okay.
and we're only recruiting a handful of students per year. We're like 3 to 5.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because our students stay for 4 or 5 years and they graduate.
Yeah.
So we're not churning through our whole roster every year. So there's not a ton of opportunities. So it is a really high bar that we have. And so when our coaches, so the first step is we identify superstar talent. And usually that's people reaching out to one of our coaches on Discord or social media. We do have a recruitment form on our website.
Oh.
So people can go to esports.uci.edu and look through the recruitment information. And we look at it every Wednesday. So we just looked at it this morning. And we'll see what people, what games they're interested, what their rank is, and we'll kind of get a feel. Are you at that level that we want to create a space for you? But you got to be really, really good. So good that we're like going to guarantee you a spot on the team next year.
Mm-hmm.
So superstar, near professional, if not professional caliber.
And what games are you looking at? Any games, all games, some games?
Just the 3 teams we have. So League of Legends, Overwatch, and Valorant.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask for Valorant because actually this past weekend I was in Vegas with our team over there at VALHALLAN. So, a couple of my best players that we got there, which are averaging around, gold, diamond level.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had no idea what we were getting into. I just know that they wanted to go there for the experience and see how it really is on a, maybe like a semi-professional stage. And everyone there was like radiant, top of the like leaderboard basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could literally go on the leaderboard on the game and see, oh, that person's playing right in front of me right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we won a few rounds here and there. I was pretty proud of them actually. They stuck through it, but I just wanted to bring that up because it takes to be the best basically in that field to get a college scholarship. And something that I did see too that we're actually planning on doing is for like, the older kids in our program, is like an invitational actually. So is there other things like that out there too? Like invitationals for like coaches or people to go and
to
scout?
showcase
like
up
a
and coming
showcase.
talent?
Yeah.
I'm sure there are. For us, like we're gonna want to have seen you compete at like literally professional, semi-professional level.
Gotcha.
So I think we're beyond like if you're just if you're a high school student and you're only competing in high school tournaments, it's going to be hard to get our attention because there are people competing at the professional and amateur level in high school that are also interested.
Yeah.
And we're actually getting more students these days who have tried their luck in the pro scene. They might have done it like the amateur tier 2 scene for 2 or 3 years and are like, what, I didn't quite make it. I'm ready to go get a degree. So we're getting more of those these days than aspiring pros because collegiate's not the best way to become a professional athlete. You need to play more than you have time to do as a student. So we're getting more students who are kind of mostly done with their professional aspirations, ready to get their
degrees and stuff. And that's what we see, and that's what we try to promote at VALHALLAN, is that at least for all the parents out there, that it doesn't just have to be the gaming in general. Unfortunately we would love to see more college stuff happen where it's like, oh, they're playing on this collegiate scene, but they can still get a scholarship and they can still go and get their degree and find something that they're still interested in the esports field, which is pretty cool to see. And that's what we try to promote over there.
Can I ask a question? And maybe this is a hard question, but this is a old grandpa talking here who's got a 10-year-old, 11-year-old esports addict as a grandson and who dreams of doing something in the field, and his parents keep going, oh, please, God, no. And I say, it's bigger than you think. There's more opportunities. Are the kids who are competing there, like when I was in college 100 million years ago, I remember there was somebody who played lacrosse, or things like that. And there was no professional lacrosse league. If there was, he wasn't thinking about it. This was something he enjoyed. It got him a scholarship. The university liked having these different sports there because it helped attract attention and helped attract, people watched it and people enjoyed it. But the point, I'm stumbling to make my point here. The point is, do they see this as a path forward, or is it just something they're doing while they're at college?
I think it's a couple things. So one, I didn't fully explain the recruiting process, but if you are an esports athlete, and we've identified you as a target for our teams, and you're so good, you'll get a spot on our team. Then UCI is able to factor in your esports skill into the admissions decision. So it's a way to get into UCI. You still have to be a really strong student, but it's not at the same kind of level as someone that doesn't come in with that skill. It's a minimum requirement, and you have to meet all the requirements. But if you are an esports athlete and there's room in the major that you want, then typically they're admitted. So it's access to the school is interesting. It's also a scholarship, so we give $3,000 to $6,000 per year for our students. We often compete in tournaments and where there's prize money, so students can further fund their college either via scholarship or just cash prizes in our program. So it is a way they can continue their passion. All of them are super competitive. Like, they have this drive to continue to play this game that they love and get better and defeat their opponents.
Yeah.
But you do other things. You get to study, you get to advance your career, you're getting a scholarship along the way, you're on this team. So there's a lot of perks being on the team.
No, yeah, and that's what was going to bring me to my next question, is that when you see a place like VALHALLAN Esports, like, it's a youth center, like, at its base, and I just want to know, like, what are your thoughts on something like that? Because our whole thing is to, foster those good, like, characteristics that keep them driven and keep them motivated to pursue things that they want to do later on, and eventually, take that college route. So I want to know, like, what is your thoughts seeing something like that?
I think it's a really important part of the ecosystem. It's probably not super connected to what we do, but I do think in terms of teaching people how to be good teammates and how to work together and communicate, learn about dedication and time management, build those basic skills, whether it's aim or finding ways to improve your game. Making one small improvement every single day is how you get really good. You don't take giant steps every single day. You got to focus on one tiny improvement each time you log in and get a little bit better. So I think just like in collegiate sports and youth sports, and I know you're all very interested in kind of being the little league of esports. This is great. I think it's a huge role to play, but I also have a son who plays little league and youth soccer, and we're not thinking college scholarship anytime until probably high school or later, when they get farther down the road. So I think it's wonderful. I think it helps educate parents and helps get kind of more family support for this passion.
Exactly. Just because esports in general, in a lot of parents' eyes, when they see a kid, because like we have like our youngest ones being like 7 years old, obviously those ones are not thinking like, oh, this is a college thing for them. But it is something that they want them to go through, and they, like, from what we show them and what our coaches do there is, like you were talking about, characteristics and building the team chemistry and, all that stuff. But the parents are just able to learn more about the genre of esports and not really see it as like it's just a distraction for them, and it's just like something to take their time away from them. It can actually reinforce and also enforce things that they will be using down the line. So,
I totally agree. And I have an 8-year-old who loves Minecraft, and I just see how much he's learning and his focus and like the wonder that he gets from exploring and learning. I mean, he's coding, he's doing commands, and just he understands like this is a giant sandbox, and he just gets to express his creativity and try new things. And I think all many video games are like that, and I think it's beautiful. We've done research with high school students, and the critical thinking that's happening, the strategy, the plans that people make, it's all really high level thinking that happens. And so if someone's really paying attention and trained to watch what learning and growth and experimentation, risk taking, all those different things that happen in this environment, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and it's the crazy thing is that it just can all stem from a video game that you like. And something that I wanted to ask also was because what we do at Valhalla is not just like the teams and stuff like that, but we also have non-competitive clubs such as like our STEM club, and we're trying to work on like a Lego robotics club where we're going to partner with like another business to actually have people come in and teach them how to make robotics with that stuff. So then like it starts turning into, you know, oh, I like this game, so I'm going to come here and play it for a little bit and be on a team with these guys. But then, oh wait, you guys also have this. Does UC Irvine have things like that? Like, does the esports department maybe partner with other classes or anything like that at any point?
You know, over the years, we've done a lot of different things. We love working with clubs, but something you learn in higher ed when you've been there a few years is clubs can kind of rise and fall with just one or two super talented students, and then when they graduate, if they're not backfilled by the next superstar leader, it just can totally feel different. So we always try to work with the clubs that are organized and have strong leadership. Right now, we have this really wonderful sim racing club. And sim racing's like a legit esport. They got the rigs, they got the chair, they got the steering wheels. We actually invited them out to homecoming, so they had a presence at our homecoming booth, and everyone loved it. It's like very easy to get into. Everyone understands how to drive a car, basically the basics of it. Not everyone can understand how to play League of Legends. When they can't just sit down and do that. But so we love partnering with them right now. We're allowing them to keep a rig in our arena just to be ready for their clubs. We've always had a good relationship with our Super Smash community, and so every Thursday night we have a weekly in our space, and the best players from SoCal all come out. And we've had other good clubs over the years, and so we try to provide whatever makes the most sense, whether they want to use our broadcast station or just access to the computers or some meeting space. But it's kind of all over the place. Not really robotics. We have had a VR development club. We've loaned them some gear. We have a video game development club. We've given them some old computers as well over the years. So we're trying to be supportive of the whole ecosystem. But you have to have the great willing partner, and that changes over time.
Exactly. Then that's the main thing is organization. Like just from the roots to go up. It's like even me, like just organizing the kids that are in our lessons or in our sessions and stuff like that. Like building that stuff up so that later down the line, like you said, if you don't have that strong foundation or any organization, then they're just going to disappear. I can relate to that because when I was in high school at Woodbridge, they used to have a Super Smash Club every lunchtime, like for 3 years. And then I guess the leader of that, or who started it with the other teacher, they graduated with me. And then I came back once we opened Valhalla, and I was like, hey, I want to talk to you guys about Super Smash. And they're like, oh, they're all gone. And then, so that was kind of like a reality check for me. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, you just got to keep things organized or it's just going to disappear.
Yeah. I got a question since I'm in broadcasting. I was in real radio many years ago. I've been doing this for 15 years. What's the state of broadcasting, of streaming these shows, of putting tournaments online? I know you guys put a lot of effort into doing that. Sometimes the results are frustrating. Sometimes they're great. Where are we at with shoutcasters, as you guys call them, and doing live tournaments on air?
Yeah, we still find a lot of value there. We have a couple broadcast interns who help coordinate stuff. We have volunteer shoutcasters, volunteer observers, but essentially we have a broadcast area that I think accommodates 5 or 6 people. We have one director or producer. They're the ones that are controlling all the transitions and starting and stopping the stream and kind of those elements on Twitch. We typically have 1 or 2 observers. So those are the people who are physically in the game, not physically, they're logged into the same game and they're an observer. So they can go anywhere in the game and kind of show the camera whatever they want to show. So they're like the camera people. And then we have 2 shoutcasters, usually 1 color commentary and 1 play-by-play.
Oh, wow.
And so they're in front of camera. And so the producer kind of starts with the stream starting now broadcast, and then they'll go to the casters. They'll talk about the game. Then we'll go to the spectators who are in the champion select or whatever, the beginning of the game, and we kind of roll it. And then we kind of take breaks when the rounds end and all that stuff. And so it's a lot of effort, takes a lot of equipment and tinkering over the years.
Yeah, that's pretty extensive.
A lot of graphical assets, and ours is completely student built. It's been redone probably 2 or 3 times in my time with the program, and so It's a wonderful thing. We are so much higher level than even tier 2 esports are. You'll often see in tier 2, it's like a couple people in their bedrooms with their bed in the back, messy or made. You're lucky if the bed's made.
I've seen that. Right?
Yeah, and then there maybe one spectator, but to have a green screen and the casters and everybody all together, and occasionally we'll have face cams on all our players. So we're prepared and able to do kind of a high level broadcast. But the challenge is getting the eyeballs on that beautiful product you create, because you put a lot of effort into it, but only a few dozen people watch it, and so we struggle to market ourselves and to get enough people to care about the matches.
What does the industry think? Will they see it turn into a sport where a million people are tuned in to watch something live here, like any traditional sport? Will we see an ESPN-like channel appear that updates everybody on what's happening in the sport and gives us highlights and talks about scores and all that stuff? It seems like it's trying to head there, but something hasn't quite clicked yet. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I'll go first. I mean, ESPN's tried it before. Yahoo's tried it, and I think they just didn't get the return on the investment. So it's the same thing. Like, there are people that care about the amount of people that care about video games is pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
The people that care about esports is a smaller subsection. But then there's just so many different teams and games. It's a really long tail if you think of a bell curve. So we're not capturing any of those big middle chunks of the bell curve. We're capturing these like really niche edges of the bell curve. And that's kind of what streaming and esports is. So there's a few esport titles that can get tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of viewers.
Yeah.
But even those aren't getting where they want to go, getting the millions of views. And those views aren't necessarily as valuable as your average fan of a professional sport, where they're much older, bigger disposable income. They're willing to pay for the parking, the hot dog, the ticket, the drinks at the game. So I think esports will take a little bit longer for the target audience to age up a little bit.
Yeah.
But we do need to kind of settle on some esports and have some games that last for a while, that people become familiar with, know the rules, know the history, can be really invested in. But I think everyone's interested in seeing it get there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, because something I talked about in a couple other podcasts, because the news came out a while ago, is that they want to bring esports to the Olympics. And so that was what really piqued my interest, is like, well, what game or games are they going to put out there for the world to watch and see? So, I mean, I think that was another topic I brought up with someone, our previous guest on here, was just about how there's the MLB, there's the NFL, there's I'm blanking on soccer, what they're called, but like, there's those organizations that have all these teams playing one sport, and then for esports though, that's just like, you see all these teams out there and they're playing this game, but then these teams aren't all regulated by like one organization, or am I wrong? I'm not too sure.
No, you're totally right. And I'm sure you've spoken about how esports are owned by the game companies, individual companies. So for any game to be regulated by some third party outside of that, would take some buy-in from a for-profit video game developer who's cares about their stock price.
Yeah,
probably
and they've
more.
been kind of resistant to that. I think of the Nintendos of the world, like Smash or something, and they don't seem to really want to go to that level of having that. Maybe because they lose control over it.
Yeah, I would say Nintendo is notorious for not supporting esports. That's a common gripe in the Smash community, is just how this video game company who created a perfect game, it's borderline perfect, and they don't want to support the competitive element of it.
In fact, they kind of squashed it recently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so remind me again, so you guys offer Valorant, League of Legends, and what was the third team?
Overwatch 2.
Overwatch 2, okay. That was something I wanted to bring up, because I want to make sure that Overwatch 2 was there. Is there still a lot of popularity for those players, and do they feel like they really still love that game? It's just like a quick question.
No, that's a good question. Man, Overwatch has been struggling for a while. There was a time when they first started developing Overwatch 2 where our Overwatch players were so tired of the same game, hadn't been patched for so long, and same unfun meta. GOATS was this triple tank, triple support world for over a year. You had to play it, otherwise you couldn't play the game. I think that one's struggling. Overwatch League has sunset, and now there's different kind of professional top tier ecosystems, less supported. I think with esports, my goal is to be a little bit more flexible than we are with traditional sports, and invest in growing in new emerging games.
Marvel Rivals,
maybe.
Yeah.
If they have a development team that keeps patching it. I think Overwatch 2 of the games that we're supporting is certainly not having its strongest moment right now. I think Valorant by far is, of the games that we support, has the biggest competitive scene. And so we're always looking at that, and again, the goal is to, I think, evolve with the times. And so we'll see where that takes us.
And just another quick one, has there ever been any Fortnite scene in college esports at all?
That's
yes.
why my grandson is just nuts about Fortnite.
It is a insanely successful game. Few thoughts. One is some schools do that. I find those kinds of games a little bit too luck based to be a true pure esport.
Like a strategy based.
Correct. I don't think the game is fair and balanced when you log in, and it kind of depends on what you find and all the different factors that go into it. That's one element. And the other element is when they first started the game, they didn't have custom lobbies, and you couldn't create a match against another school. And so if you can't create a custom match with UC Irvine versus our rival school, we're just going to log into a public server and see who gets the most kills. It was not built to be an esport. I don't think the company sees esports as a need for them. They're kind of printing money still with Epic. So they're thriving, and they've done tournaments and they've been really successful. But I don't think esports like collegiate are a priority for them. I don't see them going that direction. But I still think the game is super popular, and my 8-year-old who likes Minecraft, all his friends are playing Fortnite too. So it's going to be popular for a while, I think.
And something that I want to just make sure so that the kids that are on the Fortnite team at VALHALLAN right now don't have their dreams crushed or anything, is that there's still a lot of content creation route that you could go. There's so many streamers out there that play competitively, and you brought up the tournaments that they do have, they have the FNCS, the Championship World Cup type of thing. So in that sense, I think it's a very good intro game to the competitive world of esports. It's not something that you maybe go down the line and you're 21 still doing Fortnite as a competitive thing, but I think it's a very good intro. And then once you grow up just a little bit, maybe you start taking more interest in League of Legends, Valorant, those types of games where it's really a team-based setting, because Fortnite you can play solo, duos, trios, squads, and so
and is that the evolution? Because that's what I saw with my grandson. He started with Minecraft. That's all he wanted to do. And one day he said, I discovered Fortnite. And now he and his friends, now he's 10. And somewhere between 8 and 10, he switched.
Yeah, I mean, if I can just put my own personal experience in there, I did the exact same thing. I was Minecraft, Roblox, and then jumped onto Fortnite when that came out in high school. But then Valorant came out around that same time, and I played Counter-Strike growing up. So I was just super into already the strategic team-based games. So I was playing Valorant from when it came out until still now. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's the same route that everyone goes, but it's still something that Fortnite's just that intro game. I feel like a lot of kids are playing nowadays because it's everywhere.
I got to ask one more question here. I know we're running out of time here, and I'm eating up too much with my own questions here. But the other thing that surprised me when you were here last time is how many major corporations in America now have esports programs where they're trying to get into this world, capture the attention of these future customers maybe. And I mean, maybe this isn't one of them, but I think it was State Farm Insurance, and not just Monster drinks and things that you would immediately assume would want to go after these spaces. Talk about that. Or more, is corporate America waking up to the power of this esports community and starting to support it or dip their toes in the water?
I would say it's broader than esports, but certainly online content creation, just the online gaming community is a place you need to be if you're marketing to young people. They're not watching television, linear television. So that whole budget you're spending on the Super Bowl, you're not reaching
My
young people
10-year-old.
that play video games. And so, yeah, of course, you definitely need to lean into that. Esports is a small segment of that. If that fits your strategy and you want to be in that competitive element, then it can certainly fit. Yeah, State Farm's definitely done some big esports activations, car companies, pretty much everyone that's trying to build lifelong customers. Credit card companies, banks, car companies, insurance. Those are all very common to see in the esports world, but you'll see them sponsoring famous streamers with tens of thousands of viewers and all those different things. So absolutely every company has an influencer kind of arm now that's thinking about online content creation just to hit the demographics they need to hit.
So it seems like another career opportunity. If the parent's saying, well, my kid loves esports or online gaming, what are they going to do with this? Maybe it can get them, maybe it can teach them life skills like you're doing at Little League. Maybe it will help open the door to a university like UCI and help get them into a program. And maybe not just making games down the road, but all the world of promoting games and supporting games. I mean, major advertising marketing companies are going to look for people who have esports experience, I would think.
Yeah, I think
gaming experience.
Yeah, there's a ton of opportunities for people, and if they're following their passion, they're gonna push boundaries, try new things, experiment, build the things they wish existed when they were younger. And so, yeah, that's my recommendation for young people is follow your passion, and experiment, try new things, learn new skills, whatever that is, and try to create a role for yourself that you're going to be the best at because you've put so much time and energy into it.
Yeah, and I think we ended that the last show with the same message is that you just got to have that drive and passion for what you love doing. And if that's esports, then just keep going with it and make sure that you're, maybe at Valhalla getting that guided learning and curriculum so that you can continue thriving in that field.
Love it.
How do they find more about Valhalla? And we'll start with you guys. If they want to get their kids enrolled early in an organized Little League kind of program?
Yeah, all you got to do is, we do it Monday through Thursday, 4:30 to 6:30. If anyone would ever like to drop by, if any listeners want to drop by and just check it out, they can. But if you just want to get more information, you can actually go to our website at valhallan.com, spelled VALHALLAN.com.
If they want to drop by, you're in Lake Forest where?
Lake Forest off of Muirlands and Ridge Route Drive. We're in the Albertsons and AutoZone Center.
I took my grandson over there. He didn't want to leave. And then after they get to that level, if they really want to sniff around and say, maybe there's a future to this, maybe they really could be an esports athlete and get an admission to a prestigious school like UCI, where do they go to learn more about that?
We're on all the socials at UCI Esports, and you can go to our website at esports.uci.edu.
Wow.
Awesome.
A whole world that I didn't even know existed a year or two ago that seems to be being born before our eyes here. A whole ecosystem that's taking place. Thank you for sharing all that with us, and hope you come back and share more.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd love to.
All right. Well, there you have it. I'm just fascinated by this whole world of esports and what's happening. And it sounds like we're kind of sitting at the center of it here. UC Irvine and Orange County being home to so many esports programs and esports creators here. Learn more as you tune in every time to the VALHALLAN Lake Forest Esports Connection and get connected to what's happening in this rapidly growing world of esports. Right here in Orange County's only community radio station.